Hello, welcome to this week's Midweek Connection. My name is Todd Jordan. I serve as senior pastor here at Strawbridge United Methodist Church, and I am delighted that you've joined me. This week I'm taking a look at Matthew chapter 2 at the very beginning, and I encourage you to look at it yourself, but you'll read that it is an encounter that King Herod has with the three wise men. You're probably familiar with the story. The three wise men come from the east, following the star in search of whatever the star may be leading them to. They're expecting the birth of a king, of someone important, and they go to Jerusalem because that's where you would think important kingly people would be born. And they inquire of Herod, and Herod isn't sure, so they look at the prophets and they come to the conclusion that the child must be in Bethlehem. And so they follow the star to Bethlehem, of course, to a stable where they find Mary, Joseph, and the baby Jesus. And the story tells us, Scripture tells us, that the wise men are overwhelmed with joy. And you know, there is a lot of joy this season. There are a lot of reasons for joy this season, and I'll be talking about that this coming Sunday. But not everybody was pleased with the birth of Jesus. You may recall that King Herod was quite jealous. He was quite jealous of anyone threatening his power, his status, his stature. And he was quite upset about the possibility of the birth of a king. And so he was naturally not overcome with joy about the arrival of Jesus. Well, there are some who find it difficult to be joyful this time of year, not out of jealousy or feeling like Jesus is a threat, but just because sometimes life is hard. Many of us are dealing with issues perhaps of grief, of loss, of some bump in the road that's occurred, that we're trying to work through some difficulty in life. And any number of those factors, external or internal, can get in the way of our finding joy this season. And so for those of you who are finding it difficult to find your joy, we are having a worship service this Thursday night in the sanctuary at 7 o'clock. We call it our Blue Christmas worship service. And it's for anyone dealing with anything that's difficult or that just might be finding it hard to get into the season for whatever reason. It's an opportunity to come gather. It's kind of a quiet service. It's reflective. And it's an opportunity to sort of pray through and invite God into our hearts so that God can walk alongside us during this season. There will also be an opportunity to connect with Stephen Ministry after the service. For those of you not familiar with Stephen Ministry, we have trained volunteers here in the church who are ready and willing to visit one-on-one with anyone who would like someone to listen to them. So if you are going through anything, could be anything from loss of a loved one to an upcoming anniversary of a painful time in your life, to maybe loss of a job or something else. We have trained volunteers who are ready to just meet and listen to you, and sometimes they'll visit with someone over a few weeks, and then the people work through whatever it is that they're working through, and that's it. Other times it might last for years, whatever folks need, but we want everyone to know that we have Stephen Ministers available. And if you would like to learn more about that, you can do that on Thursday night as well. So for those of you who are finding it easy to find your joy this season, God bless you, and thank you for the ways that you are living into and sharing that joy with others. For those of you that are struggling to find your joy, there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with your faith. It happens to all of us. We're here for you. And if you need your church, if you need a pastor, or if you need a friend in the form of a Stephen minister, we're here for you as well. May God bless you. And again, that Blue Christmas service is Thursday night at 7 o'clock. And of course, we'll have worship this Sunday at 9 a.m. and 11:05. May God bless you, and I'll see you then.